LTN Hour. Let's talk NASCAR with your host, Todd Bailing, co-hosts Brian Schmidt, PJ Noodleman, and producer Dangerous Dan Margetta. Call the show anytime at 414-421-7901. And now, the creator and host of the fastest hour in radio, Todd Bailing.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the program. Glad you could join us. The first round is over. We have our eliminations. Let's call this the Joe Gibbs round, okay? They swept the three races. Unbelievable. Hi there, Todd Bailing in beautiful Linden Station, Wisconsin, joined by my three partners, beginning with Brian Schmidt in Oostburg, USA. Hey, man.
Good morning. Yeah, that was weird. That was that Bristol race. I mean, when you look at the clock and it's 11 o'clock and the race is just ending, you're like, goodness, this is like old school Bristol, but it really wasn't.
It certainly had some differences, didn't it? PJ Noodleman over in Trempealeau, Wisconsin, on the left coast.
I am a little tired this morning, much like the tires at Bristol.
Good one. I love it. And Dan Margetta, who is from South Milwaukee, but is not located there. Right, Dan?
No, I'm not too far from you. I'm actually in Dells. I ran the camera last night for the Big 8 show at Dells Raceway Park. We'll be going right after the show for today's Alive for 5 super late model race. I got out from the race and I got to watch the last 100 laps of Bristol. That was kind of cool. I thought it was a pretty good race, even though, yeah, the tire wear thing is kind of manufactured.
Well, that certainly is going to be the topic of every talk show in the world about racing this week, because I guess it was a surprise, right? That they show up with a tire that they hadn't tested. But Brian, it sounds as though they may have run this same tire in the past.
I don't know exactly if it was the same one, but it had a lot of similarities to the spring race of 24, if you remember how that went down. And it was like right away, as soon as the race got going, and we got about less than 50 laps in, and you could see guys changing tire. And from the camera up in the stands, you could see the whole right side of the tire was down to the cords. You knew, boy, we're going to have a problem here. And Goodyear actually had to go out and mount a whole nother set for the teams to be able to make it through the rest of the race. And
how come in practice so they could run laps nowhere at all?
I don't know, and that's the part that I've been trying to find reasons for that, and you really can't see it. A lot of it has to do with temperature. A lot of it has to do with they practiced during the daytime, if that made a difference with how the track was versus the night. I was really strange. The one thing it didn't do was turn it into a Bristol race that we saw the two prior, the spring one and last fall, where you had one car dominate the whole thing. You did not have that last night. And I didn't intently watch the race, but it was on the TV the entire night, and every time I'd walk through, somebody different was up front. And you're like, what's going on here? You see cars running 2 seconds to 3 seconds slower than the rest of the field because they're trying to make their tires last. It made for an interesting race. I don't think it's I
wonder if it had something to do with that PJ1 they put down, because then they put a couple layers down. It was
they put it down on the bottom, and that's where the left side tires were in. The right side tires were up in the old concrete, and it was just peeling it off. It was almost like when you take, a block of cheese and you run it over your grater. It was just loose stuff laying up on the top, and you never developed a second groove, which is, I guess, even the more weird part, because the other three races we had the weekend there, the Arc of the Truck and the Xfinity race, you didn't have that problem. They were running up on the top, running side by side. So it's really weird, and I'm interested to see what Goodyear's going to come out with when this is all done and explain what they really did here, because I don't really know.
I don't want to, and I don't claim to know anything about tire manufacturing, but I do know on the short track side of things, they've had some issues with tires that didn't have enough time to cure before they use them. I don't know if that would have played a factor too in just their ill handling ability.
But was it something they didn't want? It seems to me that they wanted it. This. If you don't believe me, first of all, I thought it was very unusual that the tires were so soft and there was so much crap on the track that it accumulated, and we had fires in the right front of these cars, which, NASCAR always says safety first. Well, no, it seems like showtime came before safety, or we wouldn't have had fires in the cars last night. Right down to, I believe, didn't Cindric have some smoke inhalation or burnt arm or something from just the fact that tires were so soft, and which I guess makes for a very interesting race.
Just on the right side, too. And that's what happened to Josh Berry. His car was on fire. He was trying to make a couple laps to get it to go out, and it finally got so bad. There was so much smoke in his car. He came down pit road. His spotter kind of just told him where to stop and get out. And it was under green. He couldn't even get it in the box all the way. Crawled out of the car. They finally threw a caution because they had to get the safety crew out there to finish putting the fire out. So that was not an intention. I don't think they expected that amount of rubber to just build up on the car. And then with the brakes so hot there, that's what ignited it.
How could they not think of that, though?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I don't know.
We have some of the brilliant minds in the world of racing, and they couldn't have, predicted that we're going to have fires.
Especially since it was an issue once before.
I mean, when they were changing tires, it looked like the dirt race they had there years ago. As you're taking the tire off, the pieces of rubber are just falling off like the mud would when you're changing a tire on a dirt car. It's really strange.
Yeah.
But what it did do is provide, lots of different leaders in the little less than 4-hour race. And they only averaged 69 miles an hour. You know why that is? Because there were 14 cautions for 137 laps, which was over 27% of the race was run under caution. Now, even though that sounds bad because we had all these tires failing, we had a rotation of people that led laps in that race. By the way, eventual winner, C. Bell, was not one of them that led a lot of laps. What was he, like 12 or 14 total laps in the whole race? Surprise! He's your winner. But look we had Gibbs, who I'm sure people were thinking, this could be it. He's finally going to live up to all that hype. Or Carson Hocevar. Oh, look, Hocevar is going to finally win one. Well, he certainly was. He ran up front his share, more than his share, as did Gibbs. But, of course, the same thing that put people up front, what the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. And
look at you.
Yeah, oh, yeah. You just, hey, it's Sunday morning. What can I say? For all these people that didn't go to church and you wanted to hear that, I'm here for you. And by the way, one of the coolest things that could have happened during the week, they say Hendrick. Well, it wasn't really Hendrick. Hendrick Motorsports, Chad Knaus, who runs the competition end of Hendrick Motorsports, made a decision that since the Alex Bowman was in the playoffs and that our buddy Hocevar was not in the playoffs, that Hocevar team is leased. The pit crew is leased from Hendrick. And he made the determination, Chad Knaus did, that the 77 pit crew was better than the 48 pit crew. So he swapped it because it was so important that Alex Bowman was going to make the next round, and let's give them the best possible pit crew. So you've got 4-5 guys that are looking at each other going, well, we deserved to be demoted for this? Really? So wouldn't you think they would all look at each other and say, and there's only one goal we have tonight, and that's to beat the 48 car. And I'll be damned if they didn't do it. The 77 car was 7th, and Alex Bowman was 8th and got eliminated. And, they couldn't do a high five in front of anybody. That wouldn't have been appropriate now, would it? But the fact that they got replaced and then they outperformed, well, don't you just love stuff like that?
And that 77 car had a legitimate chance to win that race.
Oh,
he was one of the better cars all night long, and we don't get that late caution. I don't know if he would have been able to hang on and win it, but he certainly would have had a chance. He would have been right there.
Absolutely. It was fun to watch, that's for sure. We're very glad you tuned in. And if you have a thought on last night's race at Bristol, and we're going to go over Gateway in a little bit. There have been 2 races since we've spoken last. You can call us at 414-421-7901, and we'd love to hear from you. And in the meantime, let's start figuring out what we're going to say about all the wonderful things we're going to say about Denny Hamlin winning at Gateway.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
The summer heat is on, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800. Or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Chimney Mechanics installs and services wood, natural gas, propane, pellet stoves, and chimneys. We service all of Wisconsin, the UP, and Northern Illinois. We repair all brands and all models of fireplaces, no matter where you bought it. We do custom chimney caps, liners, chimney fire repairs, water and stonework, water leak repairs, and replacement dampers. We do new construction and insurance work. No job is too big or too small. ChimneyMechanics.com. That's Chimney Mechanics with an X. Check us out on Facebook.
The Green Bay Packers, more than just a team, they're a way of life.
Chase from behind, and a sack, Micah Parsons!
Listen to every minute of Packers action on our sister station, 97.3 The Game. Presented by Robert Hack Diamonds. They buy gold. See them in Brookfield or Greenfield.
Yeah, the Joe Gibbs playoff sweep, kind of an amazing accomplishment when you think about it. The Toyotas. Denny Hamlin wins last week. It was his 5th win of the year. I thought that his post-race comments were pretty interesting because he's 45 years old, okay? And, you think to yourself, well, how long is this guy going to race? And his contract is for 2 more years, and he sure made it sound as though that's going to be it. Now, it's not a big surprise, I suppose, when you think that he'd be 47 and needed a new contract. But what I loved what he said. I don't want to retire leaking oil, running in the back of the field. I want to win my last race. That's pretty cool because there are some people that wouldn't want to leave when you can win every week. And then you think you can win once, you can win every week, But the fact of the matter is he's laid it down that he knows when he's going. Now, that said, the reporters kept asking, and they said, could you see a scenario where, like, if you won a championship, that would be it? And he said, yeah, I could see that too. Well, maybe that 2-year thing just wouldn't happen. And if he actually won the championship this year, then he left the door open, it seems to me, to get out of the car. So, but in the meantime, he's got court things to worry about because that's what his next chapter of his life is going to look like. By the way, Dan, there were some maneuverings this week in the legal end of things, right?
There was a filing, I think, late Friday night, and it included an internal presentation from NASCAR, which is like a contingency plan from back in 2024, and they called it, Project Gold Codes. It was kind of, apparently these negotiations were going so bad back then that there was actually a threat of the teams boycotting an event, like not showing up one week. And then they took it seriously enough to make this contingency plans. What will we do if that happened?
It was Daytona.
Well, they were talking about, maybe the qualifying races for 2025. Right. But, what if they did that? And the plan was to take, Xfinity cars or ARCA cars and fill the field out that way, kind of like they did back in the day at Talladega when all the drivers decided to sit out. But the interesting thing about that whole thing was there was an 18-month plan to take over everything if they had to, like roll all the teams and everything, and they had costs laid out and everything. And it was, for 36 cars, it's going to cost like $600 million a year. And it's like, well, okay, well, if you're going to spend $600 million a year, how much money you got? That you're willing to do that.
That's part of why they don't want to open the books, right?
Apparently, they've lost more than Michael Jordan in the casino.
Yeah.
But I get where the teams kind of thought that, oh boy, there's this out there. I think this all kind of started in like 2021 when that new car came out. Because a lot of people we talked to that had been there for years and decided not to get out of it. Also, the same thing. It's not the same anymore. They tell us what cars we have to run. We have to buy all the cars from, buy all the parts from. We can't do anything on our own. And that's kind of, I think, where the whole monopoly things started as far as people thinking that way. And then they were telling the teams back then, remember, you're making, you want to cut costs, cut people. We're going to make it easier for you by running this car. It's going to cost less and you don't need as many people and that. And then at the same time, by doing that, it kind of built NASCAR with more control over everything. And I think that's kind of where that came about. It's just interesting that contingency plan was out there. And every sports league has a contingency plan. I mean, baseball did it when the guys went on strike. They brought in replacement players. Football did it back in the early 80s too. Remember when strike? So it's out there. That never came to fruition. It's just the fact that it was going so bad that it got to that point means where we are now in court. It's not good. I mean,
no, it's not good, but we're headed that direction, which I still cannot believe that they're not going to come up with some kind of a settlement out of court before that court date. They're going to just have to have their fingers held to the flame until somebody screams and, okay, what do you want? We'll give it to you. Just don't make us open up books.
I mean, what happens in the end though? Say the teams win. What happens there now? Do you where do you have another series? Will you still have a NASCAR? Are they going to do something on their own? What?
It's about the drivers. We need to remember that. It's about the drivers. They have the best drivers in the world over there, and that's why people come. It's not because they want to see these cars or one lug tire changes. I'm sorry, that's not what brings people.
I think it is the drivers. You can see that even on your short tracks. If there's not a NASCAR guy coming, people don't show up. So I see that part. So what do you do? I mean, is there something out there that could take the place of what NASCAR is now? Is the Cars Tour that big enough? I mean, it's probably the closest thing, right? I mean, it's maybe one big TV deal away from maybe really making a threat to them. I don't know. Do you see something like that happen?
Dan, where do they race? South Boston isn't going to cut it.
I think the biggest thing is going to be the money. In order to keep these big corporations, which is what these teams are, those are corporations. Hendrick Motorsports, Gibbs Motorsports, RFK, Penske. Keep these corporations going is a series that is able to supplement the money to these teams. I mean, if you look at the purses, most of these purses are approaching $10 million per cup race. Mm-hmm. You don't have that in any other series. Nothing even close. I mean, the Xfinity series, you're looking at about $1 million a race.
Right.
You spread that out amongst all the teams. That ain't going to cut it. That ain't going to keep these corporations going. And I think that's why a lot of these teams signed that agreement back then, because there was no alternative. There's no other place to go. ARCA don't have any money. Those teams are running for less than $10,000 to win a race. So that's where NASCAR still holds the keys to the car. Is they're able to, because of the TV contract and because of all the other sponsorships and things they have going for them, are able to supplement these teams to keep the doors open. That all goes away. These teams are gone. I mean, Hendrick Motorsports can't take their cars and go run in any other series right now and be able to keep employing all their people.
Right.
Now they have an 18-month contingency plan to take over everything on NASCAR side. Is there an 18-month contingency plan on the team side that says in 18 months we can go and convince these sponsors? I mean, Dale Jr. and Michael Jordan are pretty influential.
Yes.
I might be able to do that.
Yeah, it's just hard to see, because anytime you see, and we've seen it in all the other sports leagues too, anytime somebody tries to run a competing series, it just never seems to work. We've seen it in football. They try to run this football spring thing, which doesn't really get any traction. We've seen it with SRX. That lasted only 2 years, and they had a TV contract, and that kind of fizzled. That's where I think NASCAR has. That's where they have the leverage on this. But again, I don't know what. Like Dan says, I don't know what the ending clause is. What is Hamlin looking to get out of it? More money? Then
typical.
What's your number?
Purse. Right, exactly. A typical purse for a NASCAR Cup race is around 11, maybe a little less than $11 million per race. Think about that. That's the purse per race. The Xfinity Series is running a little over $1 million a race, and the Truck Series is running about $750,000 per race total purse.
Yeah.
So if you want to make the really big money, Brian, you must have to go race an IndyCar, right?
No, they're not. It's not that big there either. It's not even. I don't believe it's even $2 million, and I think the champion only gets like $1 million. It's not that high. Now you have less cars. You have 27 cars, and there's even less teams. So, the dividing that chunk of money is you're getting a little bigger piece of the pie versus when you're in the NASCAR side of it. But no, the Cup Series is the top rung when it comes to the money coming in.
And that's probably more so than it is the drivers, why people want to compete in the series because of the money available.
It's an investment either way, and you have to invest to get these cars to be this good and this fast. Oh, my God. We're going to take a break and be back.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
Miller Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
Love waits for the snap, and here it is. Rushan has time, throws left side of the end zone. Catch made. Romeo Dobbs has the pylon. Touchdown, Green Bay. And he throws the football into the stands. To Richardson, winds up deep down the right side into a gaggle of bodies. Is broken up and intercepted by the Packers.
The home of your Green Bay Packers and the flagship of the Packers Radio Network.
And there is your dagger.
97.3 The Game.
Also this week, they had some sort of meeting where they brought the owners in. They like to keep the dialogue going. You know, they can't really come up with any kind of solutions unless you keep talking. But a rumor came out that one of the owners that was in on the meeting said that NASCAR has said that they're planning on changing the playoff format next season, as early as next season, which would coincide with not racing the championship race at Phoenix all at the same time. This is kind of confusing for me. There have been lots of ideas that have been floated how to change the format and how to change the championship for. I guess there are folks, and there's certainly a good argument to be made for. It's a season. It's a 36 race season. How can it possibly come down to one race and four guys with 36 or 40 cars on the track? Whoever finishes the highest. It doesn't seem. Gosh, if you did that, a guy like, say, Joey Logano could win the championship because he didn't do squat all year except win one race, barely made it through the playoffs. As a matter of fact, actually got eliminated from the playoffs, but was reinstated after someone else got DQ'd and went on to win the championship. Is he really the champion? Well, you don't blame a guy for playing by the rules. They don't make up the rules. They play by the rules. But I don't know what to think. Where are they going with this playoff format?
Well, right now, the rumor out there is, right now we run a 3-3-3-1 format, which is 16 races. You run 3 races, elimination, and you go all the way down to the 1. The one rumor right now is to go to a 3-3-4 format, where you run 3 races, eliminate guys, run 3 races, eliminate guys, and then run 4 races. So you'd be basically, looking at, you go from 16 races down to from 16 guys down to 12, and then you would have 4 races to determine that champion. But the way I look at it, then you're going to be back to where we were before, where, if a guy gets really hot and wins the first 2, he can almost coast through the final, and then you're going to have the scenario that we had before where a guy could finish.
That's why they changed it in the first place.
Yeah, where you're going to have a guy where I don't have to finish any better than 20th to win this championship. I just scratch my head or I shake my head and go, what are we doing here?
I think they're on crack. That's why.
Yeah, careful what you wish for. I mean, you keep changing. That's my biggest issue is that they change and change and change and change, and you're supposed to figure out yearly basis. Listen, I'm sorry, I'm not as smart as apparently all these deep thinkers that have made up this format we have now. I don't really understand playoff points. What the hell do I care if I have a playoff point? Is it a tiebreaker during the playoffs? Is that what the whole thing is for?
It's almost like they think they are a casino where the house always wins, and they have to keep trying to invent a way to ensure the house is always going to win.
Well, it's always too late for TV is what it is. It's, what can we get people to watch and be invested in, and not just like diehard race fans who will watch anything. I mean, I like the full season champion. I didn't care for that. And if somebody wrapped it up early, well, that was it. He had a great year. Right. But apparently that wasn't enough to drive the TV ratings enough and to compete with the NFL and everything like that. So we had to come up with this, crazy format we had with the chase. And now we got this one playoff deal, which I didn't mind the one playoff deal as much. I mean, I didn't like it overall because it kind of tarnished the whole season championship thing. And I don't remember who champions were the last couple of years because it was just that one race deal. He kind of forgot about it. Whereas I remember the full season ones more. And so we had that one race deal. We went to Phoenix. It was okay. But now we're going back to a track that's pretty great for a one race deal, and we're going to change it up again.
Yeah. If you're going to negotiate the way the season ends, you need to include the whoever runs NBC Sports, because obviously they have as much or more to say about it than anybody else, because they're paying the bills and they're paying a lot of money. And if they like this format of having one race, you can damn well be sure they're not going to change it, because they have to keep the people that are paying the bills. You got to keep them happy. That's the way it works.
And maybe you've got people making decisions that don't understand racing either, though, and that's where the rub is.
And maybe they're looking at it as, okay, maybe if we go to this 4-race format, we're going to get eyeballs for all 4 of them versus just the one. But I don't think that's really how it's going to work. I mean, I'm kind of torn because I don't like Dan said, I don't like that, it's not a full body of work to see who your champion is, because, Joey Logano is a perfect example of it, where he doesn't do anything all year and then he wins a championship. Like last year, I walked out of there going, how is this guy a champion? But then again, it's cool to go there not knowing what's going to happen. You got 4 guys. There's the excitement of it. Who's going to win this? We really don't know until the race gets going. That's cool as well. So, as far as a kind of a random fan, I'd lean more towards the not knowing who's going to win it. You might get people excited for that one day to see what's going to happen, versus the truest, where he says, this is 4 races. I mean, you still don't know what you're going to get with 4 races, because somebody gets hot for those 4 and sucks all year. Well, what is that going to do?
There's a rule in business that says you shouldn't be chasing after your clients. You should just do what you do best, and the clients will come. And I think that is still applicable for NASCAR too. They need to quit chasing after this elusive perfection and just do what they do best, because the audience will follow.
Yeah, and they have historically done just that. But most of the complaints you see and hear have to do with, God, I just got used to that last thing, and now they changed it again.
But you're going to have your people complain, especially in this age of social media. Everybody's going to have something to bitch about, and you got to get a thick skin if you're going to run a business.
I mean, look at it. To get the new fans what they're looking for, because people like us will complain and complain and complain and complain, but guess what? We're still going to show up no matter what, and they know that. They know you're addicted, and you're not going to not go. So they actually don't worry about that. They're trying to chase the fans that may on the fringe and may come and be new to it. So they'll do these kind of formats to get them to come. A lot of times happen with racetrack advertising. Sometimes you wonder, well, how come you don't advertise on the racing show? Well, because your listeners are going to be there anyways. I got to get listeners from outside the place to come in here because we know your audience is going to be there no matter what.
Interesting. God, there's so much behind it. It's amazing, isn't it? Lots of other good things to talk about, and we're happy you tuned in. If you'd like to participate, 414-421-7901. We'll be right back.
This Saturday, the place to be for exciting racing is at Fair Park in Plymouth, featuring the 8th annual Jim Wildman Watson Classic. A full night of racing for the Dirt Kings, the Wingless Sprints, A-Mods, Street Stocks, and Bandits. Increased purses in all divisions. This event also includes the annual huge bike giveaway for the kids in attendance. Gates open at 4, hot laps at 5, and Saturday, September 27th, the Wisconsin Sprint Car Championships. We'll see you there.
Miller Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer, no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer, just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358.
The summer heat is on, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Chimney Mechanics installs and services wood, natural gas, propane, pellet stoves, and chimneys. We service all of Wisconsin, the UP, and Northern Illinois. We repair all brands and all models of fireplaces, no matter where you bought it. We do custom chimney caps, liners, chimney fire repairs, water and stonework, water leak repairs, and replacement dampers. We do new construction and insurance work. No job is too big or too small. ChimneyMechanics.com. That's Chimney Mechanics with an X. Check us out on Facebook.
Right now, the Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
Anthony Edwards. You know, when you're drafted that high, it's like, okay, we want to see what you have. Anthony Edwards is 23. So you got to be fair to the timeline here. Because we were looking for the next Jordan for how long? Well, we're still looking for the next Jordan. Anthony Edwards, he reminds me of Jordan. No, not me. Not yet.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan and the Danettes and you.
The Dan Patrick Show. Weekdays at 8 a.m. on Fox Sports 920.
There's a broad heading of even squirrels trip over their nuts sometimes.
Even a blind squirrel finds a nut sometimes.
Yeah, I knew it was something like that. Yeah. Speaking of blind squirrels, how about the poll winner yesterday, A.J. Allmendinger? I'll be damned. Way to go, guy. That's pretty nice. Your season's turning right around. I still shaking my head. Where the hell did that come from? Well, good for you. Nice job. I think something came up this week. Cheating is a lost art. NASCAR wants to make it a lost art. They don't want anybody to cheat anytime, anyhow. They don't even want to think you're cheating, or they'll come up with a rule for it and slap a fine on you and take playoff points away and all blah blah blah. Well, there's a new one. I had never heard of this before, but then again, I'm just don't follow as close as I should, apparently. There were 3 cars last week at Gateway that apparently, after the race, were driving through the wet grass, which adds weight onto the car. So they were worried that they were going to be light. So I can't imagine how much weight you gain by driving through wet grass. Now, it makes a lot more sense that these same cars supposedly were driving up into marbles. Well, that makes sense. You're going to get rubber that's going to stick to your tires, and that would seem to me to be a lot more weight than whatever water was in the grass. But NASCAR, once somebody pointed it out to NASCAR, which I don't even know if they found out on their own. We're going to have a rule for this now.
They rarely find out on their own.
Somebody, there was a video. Who was it? I think it was a 48 car. And he said something. Look at those Trackhouse cars driving through the grass.
The irony of it being the 48 car is back in 2011, Chad Knaus, crew chiefing for Jimmy Johnson, was caught on camera telling Johnson to intentionally damage the rear end of his car if they won at Talladega.
Make sure you crack the back, remember?
Yep.
That's an old dirt track thing. I mean, well, you race on the dirt and you win the race, or wherever you finished, you always drove around in the mud just to make sure you had extra weight on your car, so you don't have an issue like Scott Bloomquist did that one year when he won the Dream and he was light. You always try to do that. That's nothing new.
I always thought the burnouts were done to rip that back fender up so they had nothing to look at it. Inspections afterwards. And Todd Gordon kind of mentioned that this week on the radio, didn't he, Brian?
Yeah. I was listening to that late shift with Todd Gordon. I think it was Monday. There's a lot of talk last week because during the Xfinity race, you had that cameraman out there that almost got clicked off by Connor Zilich. And, people talking about, well, why do they do the burnouts? And the whole show before it was talking about, why do these guys do the burnouts? Why do they wreck their cars? And Todd Gordon's like, well, you do it obviously to melt the tires down and get all that rubber to stick up to your car and then wreck the tolerances on your cars. He goes, we always told them to do that. That's why that's the whole burnout thing. Once it started to happen, you see an advantage in why you do it. And then that's the goal. That's why everybody does it all the time. He says, I always told my drivers, make sure you do a good burnout. Try to get all that rubber to stick to your car from that tire you had on there. Then when you blow that tire out, you take it off, you put another tire on there that's full of rubber. It's like having two tires on your car, and you increase the weight. And I forget who he was talking to. I think it was Dave Moody, because it was while they were switching over the two shows, and he's like, you got to be kidding me. He's like, no, we've been doing that for years.
Moody didn't know that?
No.
What a
I thought Moody knew everything.
I know. And Todd's like,
Moody.
Yeah. There's always, he says, there's a reason why we do everything. We don't just do, and it is. Those guys think about every little scenario known to man out there and how to get an advantage of it, So,
remember, I used to do victory lanes, used to jump on the roof of the car, and they stopped that for a while, and they brought that little fence gate out to prevent them from doing it and look kind of dumb.
Because they talked about, banning, a lot of curmudgeons on those shows, or ban the burnouts and all that stuff. And Todd Gordon's like, no. He says, that's what, a lot of fans, come out there, and that's the cool part at the end of the race. They want to see the guy do the burnouts. He says, there's people that go to, drifting is nothing but that. And there's people that fill tracks to see drifting. He goes, we ban something like that, it's going to be more egg on our face. No, you just find a way to work around it. You tell the guys, your car's got to beat this tolerance at the end of the race, and we'll find a way around it. He says, it doesn't matter how you change the rules, we will always find a way around it. It's kind of cool to hear that on the show, on a NASCAR show.
I think what really did it for me on that thing was when they had that laser scanner years ago, and people said, well, the flat black didn't scan right, and so everybody's putting flat black in your car, and I thought that was, come on. And then I actually asked Ron Malik about it after he got out. He's like, oh yeah, that was it. Somebody figured that out, and that flat black didn't scan the right way or something like that, so you can get things through the scanner. So that's crazy.
Very. Did we lose Todd?
No, we might have. I think we might have. He's still looked up, but he might have checked out. But
had to make a pit stop.
I guess, yeah. Maybe he clutched it in the middle of the show. I don't know. We'll see. We'll get him back on there and that. But crazy deal. How that works. You think about things like that. Like I said, we always tell a story from Chicago, right, Brian? When we were on the 78 car and a sticker was up, and Brian was going to help them put the sticker down, and found out right away that no, don't touch that car and do that.
And weren't you helping somebody once to put something on a car, Dan?
There was one time I was at Vegas, and this was back when Jimmy Watson was still alive, and I was talking to him, and he was rubbing some kind of silicone thing on the car, and I was like, here, help me out. And I was like, I don't know what I was doing, but you had to rub it at a certain place to get it to go through something, and he was like, did you bet on us this week? And I'm like, I didn't. I'm like, no. He's like, well, you're going to be regretting that. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Well, he won that race. And I'm thinking, did I have something to do with that? Did I help make that car get through the air better? I wasn't sure.
That's awesome. Todd, are you back?
It is. I didn't know I disappeared. I thought Dan disappeared. I couldn't figure out where Dan went.
We lost you momentarily.
I don't know what happened. Either way, we're glad you tuned in. We're going to sneak away for a break. When we come back, we've got results from around the world of racing. Good stuff going on these days. We'll be back right after these.
Gear up, race fans. From October 3rd to the 5th, Road America hosts the 61st running of the SCCA National Championship Runoff. Witness the nation's top SCCA racers go head-to-head on one of America's most iconic tracks in the ultimate battle for glory. The runoffs have over 50 years of history, showcasing the best in amateur road racing. Don't miss this high-octane showdown. Be a part of the action and experience the pinnacle of U.S. motorsport. Get tickets at www.roadamerica.com.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
The summer heat is on, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800. Or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
This is The Herd.
Wow, 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 wow.
With Colin Cowherd.
Aaron loves to make people think he's a mystery, and the media can't figure him out. And he does that because it invalidates us. And we're the one group of people he can't control. He's worshipped by football people. He's loved by teammates. The one group he can't control, us.
This is The Herd. The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Weekdays at 11 on Fox Sports 920.
And now the LTN Hour presents Dirt on the Dirt with Brian Schmidt.
Special event season across the Midwest as we wrap up dirt track racing over the next month and a half. We'll start Tuesday night. Fergus Falls, Minnesota, the I-94 Speedway. The kickoff to the big Wissota 100. The Wissota Challenge Series late models were the headliners, and Kevin Eder was your winner there. They did it again on Wednesday night. Another round for the Wissota Challenge Series, and Josh Zimpel was your winner there. Thursday night, New Richmond, Wisconsin, Cedar Lake Speedway, the kickoff to the legendary 100. Very similar to the Wissota 100, but just for the cars on this side of the Midwestern area. Night number one, they had twin preliminary features in each division. Tim Eisenberg and Jesse Glentz were your winners in the late models that night. In the modifieds, it was Daryl Nelson and Dylan Gettle. And USRA Limited lates went to Cade Nelson. Fergus Falls, Minnesota, the actual preliminary night for the Wissota 100. Feature winners in the late models were Chad Beckert, and the modifieds were Brandon Dolman. Also Thursday night in Bulls Gap, Tennessee, the Volunteer Speedway, not far from the Bristol Motor Speedway, for Flow late model night in America. $20,000 to win for the Super Lates. Jonathan Davenport was your winner there. Friday night, Seymour, Wisconsin, the Outagamie County Speedway, night number one of their two-day fall brawl. In the late models, Mike Mullen was your winner. Modifieds, Cody Schrader. Stock cars was Cole Sarneski. Down at Wilmot, the RA 410 Sprint cars were your headliner there. Logan Julian was your winner. The modifieds, Steve Miller. Fergus Falls, Minnesota, I-94 Speedway, night number two for the Wissota 100. In the late models, Johnny Brooking was your winner, and the modifieds was Joseph Thomas. Down in Davenport, Iowa, the Mars Dirt Car Series had night number one of their two-day special. Jason Fager was the Friday night winner there. Norman Park, Georgia, the Needmore Speedway for the World of Outlaw Real American Beer Late Model Series. Nick Hoffman beat Bobby Pierce. You don't see that real often to pick up the feature win there. Indianapolis, Indiana, Friday night, Circle City Raceway for the USAC Amsoil National Sprint Car Series. Justin Grant was your winner. Sarver, Pennsylvania, the Lernerville Speedway for the High Limit Sprint Car Series. Tanner Thorson grabbed his first career National Touring Winged Sprint Car feature win, so congratulations to him. And Bakersfield, California, Friday night, Kern County Speedway for the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. Buddy Kofoid was your winner there. Last night, Seymour, night number two of Outagamie County Speedway's Fall Brawl. In the late models, Brett Swedberg was your winner. IMCA Modifieds went to Lance Arneson, and the stock cars was Nick Pakarma. And the Grand Nationals made a one-night appearance there. Jeff Richards took the win there. Francis Crick, the 141 Speedway last night for the IRA 410 Sprint cars. Travis Aarons picked up the win there. Believe it or not, he won that big race there with the High Limit Series. He's been shut out since. So he needed nothing more than a trip back to the 141 Speedway to get his winning mojo back, and he did exactly that, picking up the win there last night. Wilmot, night number 2 of their fall special, the MSA 360 sprints were the headliners. Ben Schmidt was the winner. The IRA wingless sprints went to Rusty Egan, and the mods went to Adam Abbey. The final night at New Richmond, Wisconsin Cedar Lake Speedway for the legendary 100. In the late models, James Giassi was your feature winner there. Modifieds went to A.J. Demo, and the USRA Limited Lates went to Cade Nelson. Fergus Falls, Minnesota, the I-94 Speedway for the championships for the Wissota 100. In the late models, it was Chad Becker, and the modifieds was Ryan Gerke. Fonda, New York, the short track Super Series Big Block Modifieds ran the big Fonda 200, and Matt Shepard was your winner there. Davenport, Iowa, for the Mars Dirt Car Series, Jason Fager made a clean sweep of the racing there, picking up both feature wins there Friday and now Saturday. Stenoia, Georgia, for the World of Outlaw Real American Beer late models, Ashton Winger grabbed the win there last night. Hopstad, Indiana, the Tri-State Speedway for the Hopstad Hustle, $20,000 to win for the USAC Amsoil National Sprint Cars. Logan Seavey was your winner there. Sarver, Pennsylvania, Lernerville Speedway for the High Limit Sprint Cars. Dason Persley grabbed the win there. And finally, out in Paris, California, for the World of Outlaw NOS Engineering Sprint Car Series, Bill Baylog picked up the World of Outlaw feature win last night at Paris. Congratulations to Bill and his team, making the long trip out west worthwhile. Anytime Bill can get a win, when you look at his team compared to all the other teams out there, that is an accomplishment for him. So I believe that's his 3rd or 4th win on the year for the World of Outlaw. So congratulations to Bill. That is everything for this week.
All right, on to the asphalt side of things. Last Sunday at Slinger Speedway, late model feature winner and champion Jaden Johnson. Thursday night, the Arca Menards East Series ran at Bristol. The winner was Brent Cruz, the champion Isaac Kitzmiller. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series also at Bristol on Thursday night. Lane Riggs was the winner. Ty Majeski finished 4th. Friday night, the Z-Max Cars Tour at South Boston Speedway. Pro late model winner Keelan Harvick. Late model stock car winner was Caden Honeycutt. The National Short Track Championships at Dells Raceway Park on night 1. CWRA in action. Tyler Sauter sweeping both of those features. The series champion was Corey Jankowski. Yesterday and last night, Xfinity, the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Bristol. The winner was Eric Almirola. Sam Mayer was 3rd, Carson Quapple 4th, Parker Retzloff 16th, and Josh Balicki 29th. And then the National Short Track Championship at Dells Raceway Park continued again last night. The Modifieds winner was Stephen Scholes, and the Big 8 late model winner was Nick Nolden with Dan Margetta on the camera all weekend. The Bettenhouse 100 at Grundy County Speedway, the winner was Ricky Baker. Tundra Super Late Models at the Marshfield Speedway for the Bev Aschenbrenner Memorial. Your winner was Jared DeBoer. He also had fast time in his Toby car. ASA Stars National Tour was at Toledo Speedway. The winner was Dawson Sutton. Ty Majeski was 5th. Caden Quapple 8th. Austin Nason 13th. Derek Thorne 15th. Bubba Pollard 17th. Penn Sauter, dialed out by Derek Thorne, finished 19th. And Derek Kraus was 21st in what was ultimately a slobber knocker. And then today, the 60th Annual National Short Track Championships continue at Dells Raceway Park. Once again, Dan Margetta will be on the camera. If you can't get there, it'll be on Track TV, or Pit Road TV, sorry.
Pit Road.
Pit Road TV. Super Late Models Alive for 5 series is running. That got rained out earlier in the season, so they're holding that today, along with the 602 Outlaws and the Legends qualifying at 12:30. The first race will be at 2 p.m. at Dells Raceway Park for that National Short Track Championships.
No Packers today, no Cup race to watch. Gosh, it seems like a good day to come out. It's supposed to be nice and warm this afternoon. It's just a great day to come out to Dells Raceway Park. So,
and you think about it, this time of the year when you get a nice day weather-wise and that, if you don't come today, the next time you may not be till April. So you're running out of times to come, so get out here.
April? When is it nice here in April? Come on.
I mean, the next time you can go, if you don't come.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Hey, I wanted to throw a little thing in about the trucks. That Lane Riggs won that the other night. I don't know if anybody caught this, but I was going through the finishing order today, and I see Norm Benning was in the race. Norm is 73 years old, and Norm and another guy, some guy by the name of Caleb Costner. Sorry, I'm unfamiliar with Caleb Costner. Both of those cars were black flagged for being too slow. Let's fill up the field with something. You know, they used to bitch about starting parks, but you're going to get two guys that they can't even stand watching because they're going so slow.
That's not what they put down for a reason, was it? For out?
Too slow.
They didn't just usually
That's what it says on the official score sheet.
Usually the PR way of saying that is handling.
Handling. Exactly. This is the first time somebody honest. Well, this PR guy who would put this up there has got a short career ahead of him, you know. Well, when we come back after this final break, we're going to give our thoughts on the next round. They're racing at New Hampshire, Kansas, and the Charlotte Roval in the next round. Who's not going to make it out of that round? We'll talk about it after this.
Gear up, race fans. From October 3rd to the 5th, Road America hosts the 61st running of the SCCA National Championship Runoff. Witness the nation's top SCCA racers go head-to-head on one of America's most iconic tracks in the ultimate battle for glory. The runoffs have over 50 years of history, showcasing the best in amateur road racing. Don't miss this high-octane showdown. Be a part of the action and experience the pinnacle of U.S. motorsport. Get tickets at www.roadamerica.com.
This Saturday, the place to be for exciting racing is at Fair Park in Plymouth, featuring the 8th annual Jim Wildman Watson Classic, a full night of racing for the Dirt Kings, the Wingless Sprints, A-Mods, Street Stocks, and Bandits. Increased purses in all divisions. This event also includes the annual huge bike giveaway for the kids in attendance. Gates open at 4, hot laps at 5, and Saturday, September 27th, the Wisconsin Sprint Car Championships. We'll see you there.
Miller Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer, no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer, just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship-winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
Rush on, tight pocket. There we go. Set. There you go. There's the pressure they've been waiting for. Edger and Cooper. Cairo Santos for the game. Here's the snap. Placement made. The kick is blocked. It is blocked. It is blocked. And the Packers have won. Beautiful.
The home of your Green Bay Packers and the flagship of the Packers Radio Network.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
97.3 The Game.
When we started this portion of the schedule and the first three race, what do they call it? It's not a segment. What is it? First elimination round. Yeah, there we go. All four of us picked the 3 car to not make it through to the next round. So that's the one of the 4 that we all got correct. After that, a couple things that I thought were interesting. Brian is the only one that picked Bowman not to make it through to the next round. I am the only one that picked SVG not to make it through to the next round because he has so many playoff points he can't miss, whatever that means. Also, PJ and I were the only ones that picked Josh Berry not to make it through to the next round. So, Dan, you and PJ both had the 45 being eliminated, and it's that 2 car that choked all of us up. we all had him on our lists, and he made it through to the next round. So, interestingly enough, so Dan, you had 1, PJ and Brian 2, myself 3, and we're going to the next round. New Hampshire, Kansas, and the Roval. I'll just because I'm on a roll here, I'm going to start with this. I believe that's the end of NASCAR's 2 biggest headaches, the 2311 cars. Both of them will get eliminated in this round. And I also I'm going to go back to a Cindric, who I find it hard continues to scrape up enough to move to the next round. And I think that Chastain is also going to be. So I'm going with the 45, 23, and 1 and 2 for the next round. All right, gang, who wants to be next? Dan, how about you?
All right. Well, first round, I figured Penske cars were running better. That's why I thought the 21 had a shot. He was off. I didn't count on the Toyotas being that good at Darlington, and I had the 45 in that round, so I'm not going to make that mistake this time around. But I'm going to agree with you on the 1 and the 2. I'm still not a big Chastain believer or Cindric. And then I'm going to go with 2 that are kind of out there, and because I went logical last time and I got only 1 right. So we're going to go illogical here. I'm going to say this is the end for Joey Logano. 22 was out this round. He was not going to be another champion. We're finally going to get rid of that headache. And then I'm going to take the 9 of Chase Elliott. I think
I can understand.
I think the 2311 cars are very good at Kansas. And I think the way Toyota was so good so far in this round, I don't think you can count them out.
EJ? What do you think?
I've got same as you guys with Austin Cindric and Ross Chastain not making it through. I went with Tyler Reddick as well, like you, Todd, and like you, Dan, I'm taking Chase Elliott to be eliminated this next round.
Ooh, most popular driver. Woo-hoo. All right, Brian.
Yep, I got the same as PJ. I got the 1, 2, 9, and 45. And I know the 2311 cars are good at Kansas, but I think only one of them is going to be able to win. And when you look at the attitudes between Bubba and Tyler Reddick, there's a stark difference between the two of them. And it's Bubba who has the really positive, high, pep in his step type attitude going on right now. And Tyler Reddick, anytime you hear him talk, nothing goes right. And that's going to sink you sooner or later. So I think Bubba's going to move on and Tyler's going to be out.
Yeah, he's Eeyore from Winnie
Yes.
Pooh.
Yeah, and it's opposite because those two were the other way around the last how many years. Yeah. So that win at Indy really propelled Bubba.
So Joey's going to make it through this round again and still be there?
Oh, yeah. Joey's going to be a thorn in our side at Phoenix, I have a feeling.
Old squinty eyes. Squinty McSquinty.
Squinty douchey eyes. That's what he was called. Oh, man. There is the asterisk, obviously, that NASCAR loves on anybody's pick, and that is unless you win. And I have to say that Kansas has been a pretty good track for Bubba and for Reddick. Am I wrong there?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think Bubba's probably going to win that race. And I think Joey's going to be running really good there. That's why I think I have him moving on. Because when you look at the reset right now, Hamlin, 26 points to the good. Byron and Larson both have 24. Larson's running like crap. He's a guy that you think could get eliminated, but so many bonus points he has is what's keeping his head above water. Bell has 20. Blaney has 19. Chase Briscoe with 10. And then Chase Elliott only has 5 from his 1 win. And Bubba Wallace only has 1 bonus 1 playoff point right now going forward. So that's how it's reset. And they're to the good, 1 to the good going forward.
Yeah.
Joey doesn't have Kens at the dump.
Was the race.
Right? Yeah, Joey doesn't have Kens at the dump at Kansas. Joey doesn't have Kens at the dump at Kansas.
I was just going to say, wasn't that the place that Joey took Kenseth out and cost him a championship in the meantime?
That was.
They won't say it was, but it really was. But yeah, so it'll be fun 3. By the way, by the time they get to the Roval, let's face facts. We know who the favorite is going to be there, and it's not a guy that made it out of the first round. That's the way that it's turned for NASCAR. Let's keep adding road courses. Okay. You want SVG to win 6-7 races? And just keep adding them and then not win the championship. That'll be good press for you, too. Why not? Let's go and change the whole format because this isn't working.
I wonder, is the Roval one of the races that Zilich is going to be in this year, or has he done a Cup race?
Wonder.
I don't know.
That would be good, though. Yeah, that would be good stuff. Hey, we're very happy you tuned in and made us a little part of your Sunday morning. If you got nothing to do and within the sound of my voice, by gosh, it takes you 2 hours or less to take a ride over to the Dells and watch super late models race today in a 100-lapper. Be a good day for you. Perfect weather. Come on out. If not, pit row, and you can watch Dan on the camera. In the meantime, for all of us, real race cars have doors, even if they do climb in through the windows. See you next week.
This program has come to you live from multiple locations. Any and all comments expressed on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of this station, its employees, or advertisers. Your comments are always welcome at mail@ltnradionetwork.com. Find us at facebook.com/LTN Radio Network. And thank you for your support since 1985. Tune in again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for the LTN Hour on the LTN Radio Network.